Comics of 100 Years Ago, August 14th, 1924. It's Little Orphan Annie by Harold Gray. A very fashionable lady with a pug in her lap looks at Annie with her lorgnette in front of her, and Miss Asthma stands behind Annie. The woman says, "I will take her, but of course it must only be a trial. Naturally, Mrs. Warbucks, knowing orphans as I do, I hereby agree with you." Now they are together in the back seat of an old car with a dollar symbol on the door and a chauffeur in the driver's seat. It's one of those classical cars that has an open back separated from the front with a windscreen in it, but Annie and Mrs. Warbucks are underneath a bonnet that doesn't close all the way to the windscreen. Annie says, "This is the first time I was ever in an automobile. It sure is the kitten's romper, isn't it?" "Really, how quaint," says Mrs. Warbucks. "Hey, he's driving right in the front door," says Annie as they drive in the gate of the Warbucks estate. And now Annie and Mrs. Warbucks and a butler are in a very large room. Mrs. Warbucks is still holding the pug. "Leapin' Limburger, what a lot of floors to scrub," says Annie. "Egbert, will you show Miss Annie to her room?" "Quite right, madam," says Egbert, and he certainly looks like an Egbert.